Natalia Bonner. I've got some more fun machine quilting videos to share with you today. So today I'm going to be sharing 3 small blocks with you. These are actually 4-inch blocks, and I'm just going to be giving you hopefully some fun, inspiring ideas how to machine quilt just some simple blocks. So if you haven't been following me for a while, or if you don't know, last year, starting in June of 2019 all the way through June of 2020, I shared a stitch along, let's stitch a block a day, where for 365 days, I shared with you different ways to machine quilt blocks with my machine quilting rulers. That was so much fun. I had so much fun doing it that now I'm just playing on that and just creating new ideas and things like that. So we have a brand new stitch along called the 9 Patchalong that starts September 1st. At the bottom of my panel, the panel that I've quilted all of my 9 patch blocks on, there are 9 bonus blocks. So today I'm going to be sharing with you the first 5 of those bonus blocks, and then I'll be back soon to share the remaining 4. So we'd love to have you join our 9 patch along. Let's get stitching. Block 1. I'm going to start out by using my blue Mark Be Gone marker and finding the center on all 4 sides of my quilt block. Now, this block that I am stitching on here is at the bottom of my 9 patch along panel, and the block is a 4-inch block. I'm going to start out by using my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler and stitching in the ditch all the way around the outside of my block. Once I get back to one of those marked points, then from there I'm going to use the largest curve on the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler and stitch point-to-point curves all the way around. When I get back to that point where I began stitching, now I'll stitch up my ditch, traveling up just 1/4 of an inch. From there, now I'm going to stitch an echo. So I'll line my machine quilting ruler up so the outside of the largest curve is right on top of my previous stitch line. Then I'll stitch an echo across the block to the opposite side, repeating that process on all 4 sides. Then from there, once I've stitched that on all 4 sides, I'll travel along my stitch line to the center, where in the center, I'm going to stitch some swirls. I love machine quilting swirls. I do teach you step by step how to stitch these in my book and my online class, Beginner's Guide to Free Motion Quilting. Block 2. I'm going to start out by stitching in the ditch all the way around the outside of my block. Once I've stitched in the ditch around the outside, then starting in one corner, I'll stitch a diagonal line from corner to corner across my block. Once I've stitched that diagonal line, now I'm going to fill in the top side, that new triangle that I've created, with evenly spaced 1/4 inch apart straight angular lines. So you'll see that I'm lining up the straight side of my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler, so it's right on top of my previous stitch line. From there, I'll stitch a straight line to the ditch. When I get to the ditch, I'll travel down the ditch 1/4 of an inch and repeat that process. Once I've filled in that top side of the block completely, then I'm going to travel down back to that open side of the block, and I'm going to fill that side of the block in with loops. So it's kind of a fun way to create some contrast. One side goes one direction and the other goes the opposite, and it looks beautiful together. So I start out with those small skinny loops and make them get taller as I get to the center of the triangle, and then smaller again as I stitch out to the opposite corner. Block 3. So I'm still working on a 4-inch block. Because of that, I'm just using the markings on my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler to divide my block into a 4 patch. So you'll line up the 2-inch marked line on that ruler with the side of the block, stitch a straight line, travel around the ditch, and stitch your next one. From there, Now I'm going to use the medium size curve on the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler and stitch point to point curves, working my way all the way around. Now remember, anytime you're doing machine quilting with rulers, you're going to want to always hold your ruler 1/4 inch away from where you want your thread to intersect. Once I've stitched out that foundation, now I'm going to dress this up a little bit more by adding an echo. So to add that echo, I'll hold my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler right on top of that previous stitch line using the medium curve again. Then I'll stitch an echo. I'll stitch to the point where the side of my ruler foot butts up right against my previous stitch line. Once I get to that point, I'll stop, adjust, and continue stitching. Repeating that process until I've echoed all the way around the outside of that design. Block 4. So start out, I'll stitch in the ditch all the way around the outside of this block. From there, I'll stitch it straight line, angular line, corner to corner, right through the center of my block. When I get to the opposite corner, then I'm going to use the largest curve on the mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler and stitch a point to point curve to the opposite corner. Then from there, back to where I start. From that point where I started, now I'm going to start and fill in one side of that new curved shape that I created with those loops. So like we've done earlier, I'll start out small, make those loops get larger, and then smaller again as I work my way across that melon. Then I'm going to travel across the ditch to the opposite outside of the melon, and I'm going to fill that side in with, again, those simple loops, starting out small and getting larger as I stitch out that design. And one more little block to inspire you today. So I did start out again and stitch in the ditch around the way around the outside of my block. From there, start stitching in the corner. I'll stitch a point to point curve using the largest curve on my mini 4-in-1 machine quilting ruler. Then from there, I'll stitch a straight line right back to where I started. From that point, then I'll travel across the ditch and repeat that process one more time. Once I've done that, now I have kind of a triangle at the bottom of my block. I'm going to fill that triangle in with some evenly spaced straight lines. So I'll hold my machine quilting ruler so the straight portion of the ruler is right on top of my previous stitch line. I'll stitch a straight line all the way up until the side of my foot butts up against that previous stitch line. Then I'll adjust my ruler and stitch out to the opposite side. I'll use my ditch as the place where I'll travel 1/4 inch in each time. From there, I've got a beautiful quilt block design. I hope you are all able to find just a little bit of inspiration from those fun 5 blocks today. Make sure you do check out my brand new stitch along, the 9 Patchalong. This is a free stitch along that we would love to have you join. Check out all the details again on our website, peaceandquilt.com. Have a great day, everybody.